On this week's show, how to find great property deals in 2021.
In the news, we're going to be discussing how landlords need to allow pets in new AST contracts.
And we're going to be answering all your property-related questions.
Welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and YouTube. Enjoy this week's show and don't forget to share it with all your friends.
Hey, I'm Russell Leeds.
Hey, I'm Alistair Cunningham.
And welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. I'm looking forward to today's show. Talking about great property deals. For someone like you who obviously is heavily involved in finding great property deals, I'm sure you've got a lot of pearls of wisdom to give.
But we'll see, maybe not. But yeah, of course, yeah.
But before we get into that, how's your week been?
Busy. Last week I literally spent 4 days on the road looking at properties. I looked at shed loads last week. Absolutely shed loads.
Shed loads?
Yeah, I was going to say the other word, but I thought I can't. So I looked at absolutely loads of properties last week.
Right.
I spent 2 days looking around Peterborough. Found a really nice bit of land in Peterborough, which I'm currently the highest bidder on. And
are you back on the highest bidder?
I am, yeah.
You bid again then?
No, somebody pulled out, so I'm now the highest bidder again. So it is what it is.
When's that go through?
It should be. The auction finishes in the next couple of days or something. I don't know the exact date, but
I'm gonna bid on something on auction as well.
Okay, well.
But you tell me about your story first.
All right, and then I went from Peterborough up to Lincoln, then up from Lincoln up to Grimsby to Cleethorpes, and then over to where else did we end up?
We went to
Stoke, Derby.
Manchester.
We went everywhere. Manchester. Literally, we done many miles last week.
To Hull and back.
To Hull and back, yeah. Looking at properties, and as a result, I've got 2 properties that I'm bidding on, and I'm probably going to definitely buy one of them, hopefully 2 of them. But the problem is, they're like buses. You wait weeks and weeks and weeks for a great property deal to come along, and suddenly 2 come along at the same time, which puts obviously a strain on finances. So this is where you have to be able to find investors and raise finance and things like that. But great deals will always be available, and they'll always be easier to find investors when you've got great deals, when you can find great deals. One of the properties I'm looking at is, I'm not going to tell you where it is because I don't want all you eager beavers finding it and outbidding me. But it's an up and running large HMO with a plot of land on the side.
Is this the Samwell Street Walsall one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like a potentially good deal. So we're going to be I've got to send an email to the owner today and put something together for a proposal together for him. So could potentially do something like a JV or a lease option or something like that. We don't know yet, but we're trying to work something out with the owner directly. So we'll see what happens.
Now, last week I said that you were looking very dishevelled with your beard.
Dishevelled, as in you looked a bit rough.
Unkept, I think was my word.
Unkept, yeah.
And you said that it was because you were growing your beard.
Yeah.
But this week you've shaved your beard.
I got annoyed with it. I got annoyed. Like, my beard gets to a length where I'm like, it gets to the length where it's nice, and then it goes a little bit more, and I'm like, it just annoys me, so I take it all off. And
yeah. No real reason.
No, it got annoyed
reason.
with me.
Just
it got annoyed with me.
It got annoyed with you.
Actually, I got annoyed with it. It just pissed me off because it was itchy, and then it was like, oh man, I don't know how anyone can have a beard. Like Rick, man, and I don't know.
Like Rick man
at the back there with his beard, like his long hair and glasses and beard. I mean, I don't know how he does it, man. That's why he's always running around scratching like a little gorilla.
Would you find it itchy? You're just saying that now. I'm like itching my face, but no real reason.
I find it really. I don't know how you cope with such a big bushy beard.
It's just had it for years.
Yeah.
I don't think beards are. I mean, this is not the beard podcast, so we'll cut this segment pretty short.
Why?
Why?
Let's just do it. Let's do it just to piss that guy off who said the first 5 minutes of meaningless conversation.
I'm trying to imagine Russell with a beard.
And not bum fluff.
This is not bum fluff. What are you on about?
Anyway. So, what happened? What did you get up to last week?
Again, I was just looking for lots of property deals, really.
Yeah, I know you're very busy looking at deals at the minute.
Yeah, so I've got a couple. One goes to auction on Wednesday, which is today. if you're listening.
Yeah.
On the day that it goes out. So I'll be very interested to see if we get that. I've had an old pub. The owners get back to me. They're interested in selling it to me. That's sort of derelict pub. I actually know the area really well. It's been derelict for as long as I've ever known it.
It's interesting
because there was a murder there actually.
Oh, cool. Means it's going to be cheap. It's interesting because we also looked at a pub on Friday called the Buchanan in Goole, and it's just interesting. There's going to be so many pubs coming on the market, or people trying to offload them because obviously the bar industry is like proper struggled.
Well, one of the things that I thought I was going to do a lot of this year, we've talked about this before. Oh, I haven't as it happens yet, but the amount of B1 buildings.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you can got permitted developments, turn them into housing. I'm surprised there's not more of that going on because I would have thought there would be a lot of offices shutting and stuff.
There will be, and the smart people will be jumping on these opportunities. The thing is, the minute you start talking about permitted developments and B1 and C1, all the different classes, you start confusing people because they don't have the information or the knowledge. It's a very complicated subject. So
yeah. But so basically, just to fill you in, then, if you're not sure, so B1 is the class for offices and stuff, and C3 is residential, and you're allowed to turn it from B1 to C3 without planning permission, just with
permitted rights. Yeah,
so you just basically say, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to do this."
Yeah, well, it's not as simple as that, but you have to go through a slight application.
Yeah, but pretty much.
But
that's what you're doing.
It is a lot simpler than it used to be. But you don't just ring up, Mr. Councillor, go, hey, Hubert, just so you know, I'm changing that from No, you
have to fill out a form. But you don't have to get. You do have. I mean, they can still stop you.
Yeah.
But pretty much,
it's a lot. It's a lot simpler than it used to be. A lot simpler.
Yeah, unless it's Article 4 area.
Yeah.
In which case, obviously,
still need planning.
Still need planning.
But yeah, like what I've noticed for you over the last couple of months is you're moving heavily away from residential into commercial, commercial development stuff, which is good. Good. That's what I want to do. I want to move into commercial as opposed to residential. So,
but I like both.
Yeah.
I like both. In fact, we're going to talk about residential on the show. So we're going to talk about finding good deals.
It's funny because somebody asked me a couple of weeks ago if I'm going to buy any more sort of small properties, and I always said, nah, I'm going to go for bigger stuff now because you buy the deals that suits your budget and suits your experience. So I bought small houses and they were going all right, but I'm sort of past the buying 50 grand houses and I'm now at buying more expensive houses. And I sort of said that I'm not really going to buy any more residential property. I'm going to move into commercial. But then I've just put 2 offers in on 2 residential properties.
Do you know I put an offer in on
because
a residential property?
If the deal's good, it's just good, isn't it? So
I forgot about this one actually. So this one happened since we last filmed.
Yeah.
So it's a terraced house.
Okay.
It's worth 250.
Right.
Done up.
Right.
But it's selling for 170.
Okay.
Okay. Because it's horrible.
All right.
You can't get a mortgage on it. It's too bad.
Okay.
Right. It needs about 50 grand spending on it.
Right.
So 170 plus 50 takes you up to 220.
Yeah.
And it's be worth 250. So you'll make about 30 grand.
Yeah.
Not the best BRR deal in the world.
No.
However, it's got a massive garden that backs onto another street that neighbours in the street, it hasn't got planning or anything, but neighbours in the street have built houses on the back.
Yeah.
So there's precedent for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's worth a punt. It's an okay deal in its own right.
So have you put an offer in it?
Yeah.
Where is that property?
In Northern Ireland.
Is this okay? Fine. Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. See what happens.
Worth a punt.
Yeah. Worth a punt.
Worth a punt.
So, how do we go about finding great deals?
Well, I suppose first of all, to answer that question, is what is a great deal?
Yeah.
Before you know how to find a great deal, what is a great deal, and is it land? Is it below market value? Is it a HMO? Is it a service accommodation unit? So what would you define as a great deal?
Well, it's very much down to what you're looking for. Like what Ricky would look for as a great deal is different to what I would look for as a great deal, and likewise you, and also yourself, whoever's watching this. It's down to what your budget is, what your appetite for risk is, and how much money you've got available. Because a great deal in land...
It's different to a great deal in Coca-Cola. You could have 4 Cokes for £1. It's a great deal.
Yeah, but my point being is if you've got a bit of land, but it needs £1 million to invest in it to get it going, then somebody watching this ain't got £1 million. They ain't got no way of raising that. So for them, it might be a great deal, but they've got no absolutely no hope of getting it. So they need to look at what they can afford and what suits their budget. So it might be that that's a great deal, but they can't do it. So they need to look for what a great deal that they can do is. Let's go for things that are achievable. As much as I say push the boat and always aim big, do that. But don't try and get to a point where, like, we have this and you have this. I hear this all the time. People that haven't even bought like a 2-bed terrace or a 3-bed terrace trying to buy land deals and trying to do big land deals. But it's like, land, commercial is the most complicated subject of all of it. And it's where you will probably lose the most money if you get it wrong. So you've got to start at the beginning. You got to walk before you can run. I'm not saying don't go for big stuff. I'm just saying do the small stuff first.
Well, so in that
gradually.
case, then, should we look at just buy-to-lets?
Yeah, most of our clientele are going to be doing buy-to-lets, buy, refurb, refinance. So yeah, buy-to-let.
Should we do buy-to-let?
Yep, buy-to-let.
We can always talk about another. In fact, it'd be interesting to know what you guys want to know about. So if you comment below or let us know what sort of deals would you like to know how to find. Would it be buy, refurbish, finance? Would it be rent-to-rents? Would it be service accommodation, HMOs?
Well, look, I'll tell you what, we can do for the next 3 or 4 episodes, we can do how to find a good buy-to-let, how to find a good buy, refurbish, refinance, how to find a good service accommodation, how to find a good rent-to-rent HMO.
All right.
We can bring Ricky in to do the rent-to-rent stuff because that's his bag, it's not my bag. I'll take control of the camera and be cameraman. No, I'm kidding. I'll just be the third wheel.
You'll just be the sorry little loser watching on as the superstars take centre stage?
Yeah.
All right, okay, yeah, cool.
Oh, actually, is your coffee's empty? Do you mind?
Wow.
Almost as bad as when Ricky introduced me at a crash course as DJ Al. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
It's like, oh. Anyway, how to find a good buy-to-let. First thing you need to do before you even look for a good buy-to-let is you need to understand your area and find a good area which suits where your budget, your risk appetite, and where you live. If you want to buy where you live.
If you're going to get a buy-to-let,
yeah.
Would you say that the definition of a good deal really is what return on investment you're getting from it?
Pretty much, yeah, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. So in which case, for a buy-to-let, you're not going to get the same return on investment as you're going to get with a HMO.
No, not
or
at
a
all.
service accommodation unit.
Not at all.
So what would you be wanting to get? What would you be happy with?
As a buy-to-let, well, but just a basic vanilla buy-to-let, like a straightforward, safe buy-to-let. Although it's good because it gives you a nice little passive income, it doesn't excite me that much purely because you're always generally going to leave money in the deal if you're not doing a buy, refurb, refinance. So I would be wanting 25-30% ROI, but it's just not realistic.
It's not realistic, is it?
It's really not.
But see, what about people? So I think a lot of people that are landlords.
Yeah.
Let's say you've got a good job. You don't need the extra cash flow.
Yeah.
You've got 100 grand in the bank that you've just saved up over
Yeah.
time. You're thinking, oh, I want to do something better than just leave it in the
yeah,
bank.
so
So I want to buy some properties.
You're talking 20%, 20% easy. That's
See, I would say that's very high
it is
for a buy-to-let.
It is, but they are out there. They are out there. It absolutely is possible. For instance, I've got basically he's a young lad from Norfolk, and his family are in farming.
You've got a young lad from Norfolk. His family are in farming.
As an investor,
As a friend.
right? He's a young lad from Norfolk. He's in his early 20s.
He's not your brother, is he?
No,
from Norfolk?
he's early 20s.
Right.
His family are in farming, so he doesn't really need the money because he's.
So what's he hiring you for then?
What's he what?
What's he hiring you for? He doesn't need the money.
No, because he wants to invest in stable buy-to-lets. He wants to invest in just single buy-to-lets, but he's not bothered about recycling his money. He just wants to plant it into a buy-to-let.
Yeah.
And one of the criteria is he wants at least 15% ROI. That's the only criteria he's got.
Okay.
So he wants to be able to put his money back and get 15% back a year.
Why does he not want to recycle his money?
Because he doesn't want the hassle of doing buy, refurb, refinance. And he doesn't want that.
I would actually say
he comes from old school though. A lot of farmers are old school. They're very much put the money in, sit and wait. Put the money in, sit and wait because they're too busy running the farm. And farmers are like that. They just are. I've dealt with a lot of farmers, and they just don't. There's always a smart remark in that.
I didn't say anything.
Look, that's what he wants. He's looking for 15% ROI. Right. Ricky, I know Ricky on one of your investors. That guy who he only wants 12% ROI. Whereabouts?
Northamptonshire. but
Northamptonshire,
you're not bothered
Bedfordshire.
about-
Yeah, but see,
Exactly
that
where
I think that's more real. 12% is realistic. for a
Yeah,
buy-to-let.
absolutely.
But I was thinking realistically, I would probably be if I was just thinking, I've got this money.
Yeah.
I don't want to learn about. But I just want to buy some properties, get a bit of rental income,
Yeah.
have someone like Hamptons look after it. Who I don't have. It's not like a HMO where I'm going to have to get a bit involved.
Yeah, you just want somebody safe managing it.
Totally, yeah, big company because the big
Yeah.
companies don't really do HMOs.
No, they don't, because they know that they're a lot of hassle and they cause a lot of problems.
Yeah.
If they take a lot of management, what I mean by that.
Yeah, so I might say, all right, okay, I want to somewhere reasonably close to home.
Yeah.
If you were getting 10%, that'd probably be a pretty good
But
deal.
the thing is, you've got to understand that people that are just looking for single buy-to-lets, you probably find that they've already got a good source of income to begin with. Okay, so they've got a good source of income from farming. Your guy, what does your guy do? The one that wants his 12%?
He's just a business owner.
Business owner. He's a
IT
successful
as well.
business owner in IT. And he's come to you to ask him. He's
got cash, he wants
got
to just
money
invest
to
it.
invest.
Yeah.
His business generates the income, and he just wants to put that money somewhere so it's getting more of a return in the bank.
Yeah,
Um,
and obviously capital appreciation.
yeah.
Because if leaving it in the bank, you're getting a small amount of interest, but it's actually shrinking.
Yeah.
Because inflation.
Yeah,
et
of
cetera,
course. Yeah. So, how do you go about finding these deals?
Well, first of all, how do you let's just work out. So let's pretend we've just found a deal. and
Yeah.
Let's go through the process of working out the return on investment
yeah.
to show people what they've got to do. So
Okay.
let's say you're looking on Rightmove,
Yeah.
and then we'll give you a really neat hack of how to do this basically instantly after we've shown you you need to know the process, don't you?
Yeah,
Otherwise,
100%.
Right, so you find a little house.
Yeah.
Right. So how much is it?
Oh, okay, so if you're looking for a safe single buy-to-let,
Yeah.
really you want to be looking for properties that are in good condition. You don't really want to be having to do too much work into them, or as minimal as possible. So I would tend to go for better quality stock in better quality areas, as opposed to lower quality stock in rubbish areas, because they'll be more problematic.
What are you going on about?
I
Josie goes, right, buy to let, how much is it? And you went, well,
I'm talking to them about how to find the deal. You
I
can't
would-
just go in and say, it's this much money.
I love how you said I would go for better quality stock in a better area rather than rubbish quality stock in a rubbish area. It's like, oh, really?
Right.
That's where I've been going wrong.
Yeah, it
I've
is,
been looking
yeah.
for rubbish quality
Yeah,
stock
but
in a rubbish area.
Some people do, mate. Honestly, if you wouldn't believe the deals that some people bring to me, bring to Ricky, and say, "Oh, we've got this amazing deal. Can you buy it, or can you joint venture with us on it?" They're atrocious.
Before we go into that though, right? Let's just show them how to work out the ROI.
All right, fine.
So,
ROI. Right.
name a house. How much?
Purchase
200
price.
grand.
200 grand.
Right.
That's PP. How much is your deposit? Typically 25%. Okay. So I don't need a calculator for that. Deposit's going to be 50k. Legals typically 4%, and that includes stamp duty. So 4% of 200k is going to be £8,000. Correct?
I always work it out on the stamp duty calculator.
Oh, do you? Okay. Well, I just use a rough. This is a rough estimation.
So what our legals, a couple of grand for your solicitor fees,
Yeah.
and then I'll go onto the gov.co.uk website.
Alright. But you need a postcode for it. That's the problem. Oh no, you don't.
No, you don't. You need a house price. So
Oh,
do you
go
want me
on
to
then.
work it out for a 200 grand house?
Yeah, go on
Alright,
then.
so I'll just explain to you guys what I'm doing right now. And again, we'll show you, and you won't have to do any of this.
We'll
Because
show you a hack.
how to a hack that will do this all for you. But stamp duty costs calculator. Here we go. So if you gov.uk stamp duty calculator, stamp duty land tax calculator. Someone said to me the other day, "Do you have to pay stamp duty on land?" I was like, "What? Stamp duty land tax on land?" Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Start now. So it's a freehold. It's residential. What's the name and date?
I don't know.
11th of Feb.
11th of Feb.
That will do. 2021. Got to the complete date. Yeah, this does take a little bit of time.
Yeah, we'd noticed.
Are you purchasing as an individual?
How you doing, Rick?
how's
You
it
all
going,
right?
man? You alright?
Good, man.
You should go and get a coffee or something.
Will the purchase of the property?
I think we should.
Yes. Is the property being purchased, replace your main? No. So this is an investment property. How
Oh,
much is
finally. How much is that?
200. 1, 2, 3. £200,000. So our calculate your SDLT.
£6,000.
£6,000, which
Okay,
means
so that's about right.
it would be about £8,000.
It would be about 8 grand. With the legals, it would be about 8 grand.
Yeah.
So it's a roughly 4%, okay? And again, I've just bought a house at £200,000. My legals come in at 8,125, okay? So it's 2,125 for the legal costs, Sam Hawkins, and then the stamp duty was the difference, okay? So that's just, and then let's just say, how much are we going to allow for a little bit of, you buy the property at £200,000, let's just allow a little bit of money for contingency to allow any sort of fire safety signage or any sort of legalities to become a landlord, gas safety certificate, electrical check and all that sort of stuff. So let's just say how much, £1,000 extra?
Yeah.
Just so like contingency, okay? So total money in is going to be £59,000. So that's total in, okay?
59k. See, that's the first thing you need to work out. How much money are you putting into the deal?
And that's not an exact figure, that's there or thereabouts, okay? 59k in. So then you need to work out how much are you going to be getting out for it. So we know, average house in the UK, £200,000. What's the average rent for that?
Well, I would say now you need to do, again, a bit of due diligence. And you need to look at rentals in the area and you need to find out how much it would rent for. So maybe speak to a couple of letting agents.
Now what you need to do is work out how much you're going to collect in rent from that property. So wherever that property may be, find out what is the average rent price for a 3-bed, 4-bed, whatever it may be you buy in that area. Now how can you do that?
You can do that pretty easy by just looking at Rightmove and seeing what stuff's renting out for. And just sort of get a rough idea. You can also look on things like Zoopla and it will give you a rentable income for that property. So you can search that property, it will give you a good idea of what the rentable income is for that exact property. So and also speak to agents and things like that. So let's just say that the rent is £800 per month, okay? Probably about average for that.
About average, right?
I don't know what Siri would suggest, but I would say roughly 795, 800, something like that.
Check with Siri.
Right, fine, okay. Right, okay. So obviously the rent coming in is not all profit. You've got costs and all that sort of stuff. Typically, you're going to pay 10% for management. If you're going to get a management company to manage it, it's going to be 10%. So that's going to be £80. So now we're down to £720. Okay. Also, I would be allowing 10%. Of the rental income for voids and for maintenance as well. So there's another £80 coming off that. So that's going to take us down to £640, and then we've got the mortgage to pay. So typically the mortgage is £150,000 because it's
£200,000. 75% of the asking price.
Yeah, 75% of the asking price. We know that the expected rate is going to be around 3%. So times that by 0.03. Gives an annual payment of £4,500, divide that by 12, gives you a monthly payment of £375, so take away £640, it gives you a profit of around £315 times that by 12, gives you an annual profit of £3,780, there or thereabouts. So,
you've put in 59 grand, and now you're getting out £3,780.
Yeah.
So you divide
the numbers together, times 100 gives you a return on investment of 6.4%, which actually that's pretty bad, but this is just made up figures, okay? So
that's pretty average though.
It's pretty average for most people that just walk into an estate agent and say, I'll have that one please, and just buy it without really doing the homework. The reality is, if you're buying a house at £200,000, I'd be wanting to get much more than £800 a month rent.
Well, it tends to be though that lower houses make better investment properties, don't they?
Yeah, but let me tell you something, right? I've got an investor buying a house in East Kilbride, outside of Glasgow, right?
Right.
It's £53,000. That's how much the purchase price of the house is. It gets £750 a month rent.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, isn't it?
You could buy that for cash and have a better return on investment than.
It's just crazy. Yeah. £750 a month rent.
That is crazy.
It's crazy.
So working that out obviously is a little bit of a hassle. It could be annoying if you're looking through properties. Yeah. So what I would say, rather than looking at Rightmove, a really, really good way to do this is to use the Deal Sourcer app. Yeah. So it's spelled DEAL, deal. And then Sourcer is spelled wrong, which is why I'm spelling it out. It's I always get this wrong as well. SOURCR. Yeah. Yeah. So dealsources.com.uk? Not sure. But dealsource.com. What that will do is it will literally show you all the houses and it works all those figures out
and for you. Gives you just press a button and it boom, it brings it all up.
And
Gives
you
you
can
the
say,
yield, gives you the ROI.
Just show me houses that are over 20% ROI
Yeah.
and just show you the houses work. Now, you still need to know how to do it because you're going to want to go through and check it.
Yeah.
But it saves you weeding out everything. The other thing that it will do is if you want to use, say, Rightmove as well, you can copy a link for it. So let's say you find a really good house. Rather than working it out, you just paste that link into the Deal Sourcer app.
Yeah.
And it works it out
Does
like
it for
magic.
you.
All those figures
Yeah.
that we just worked out. It's got like the algorithms and the technology. It will go on. It will find the average house price. It will find the average rent. It knows. You can go on and tweak it as well. So you can go on and say, well, in my case. So let's say you were going to buy it as a well, it wouldn't really work as a rental property unless you were committing mortgage fraud. But let's say you were going to buy it in your own name as a first house. So you go on and you change it's 10%.
Yeah.
But it works out all the averages for you. You can go on and tweak it. You can tweak your percentages.
It's pretty good. Like, we'll put a link below. You can download.
Yeah, you can get 7 days free, and we're also an affiliate as well, so we can give you, I think it's 55% off.
Yeah.
55%
Yeah.
off. So we'll put a link with the code. Use our code, and you get. But I think it's phenomenal. When I'm
It's
looking
very
for houses,
quick at finding properties.
it
is
saves
very
you
quick.
probably 90% of the work.
Well, look, how long did that take us to do that? It's like 5-10 minutes, and that's made up figures. So if I had to go away and find the rental income, that's going to take 15-20 minutes. Maybe I'm going to have to phone up some agents and say how much would it rent out for and all that sort of stuff and things like that. So you just have to put in the DD and put in the time, but the Deal Sourcer app eradicates that. But as Russell said, it's still very good to know how to do this stuff.
I think it's
Very
crucial
good.
that you know.
Yeah,
because
100%.
obviously you can't totally rely on a computer. You know, if it.
No.
You know, I've looked on mouse price and stuff where it's like, and the mouse price has gone rubbish, hasn't it?
It's gone rubbish. It's gone rubbish. It has.
How has that happened?
It just has. Anyway. So look, that's how you do ROI.
Yeah.
It also works out yield for you if you work by yield. But how do we go about finding these deals? So how can our users actually start finding a good single buy-to-let?
Well, first of all, like I said, if you download the Deal Sourcer app,
Yep.
you can it will just show you all the good ones of a high
Yep.
percentage. But if you're going to say pick an area, I would say you'd be looking for houses like you just mentioned
Yeah.
that are cheaper.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The reason that I rent where I live and you rent where
Yeah.
you live and Samuel rents where he lives is because rents as an investor, it doesn't make sense on more expensive properties.
It doesn't. It just doesn't.
So the house prices do this, but the rents sort of do.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's
That-
not correlated. There's no
No.
correlation between the house price and the rental income. So just because in London the house price is 3 times as much as it would be, say, in Northampton, it doesn't mean the rent is 3 times as much. It might be 1.5 times as much, or it might be double, but it's certainly not going to be 3 times as much. So like, I would say, like my place where I live, okay. The value of the property is 1.1 million, okay, and the rental that I pay is £2,600 a month, okay. I've got HMOs that were 80 grand that make the same amount of rental income.
Yeah.
Like, so it just doesn't make sense. And the guy that owns my property is asking me to help him sell it, and I'm like, it's just not a good investment. It's just not, because it's gone up in its value, so it's not going to go much more than 1.1 million. It might go to 1.15 or 1.2 in the next 5 to 6 years, but it's certainly not going to go up to 2 million. But there's no profit there's very little profit in the cash flow of the property, because even if you say,
Well, pretend you bought your property.
Yeah.
So what would your property be if you bought that as an investor? I bet
Right.
it would suck. What would the
well,
ROI
I
be?
know he won't take any less than 1.1 million for it. Okay,
Yeah.
so if I got a 75% mortgage, that leaves a mortgage of 825,000. So I've got to put nearly over 200,000 pound, or just under 200,000 pound in the deal.
All right, let me write it down. Where's pen? There we go. So you put it in. How much you putting in? Is it 185?
So 275 deposit.
275 deposit.
275 deposit.
Yeah.
That leaves a mortgage balance of 825.
Right.
Times that by 0.03 if you could get 3% interest.
On that size.
That leaves an annual rent of 24,000, which leaves an annual a monthly mortgage of 2,060.
And just as well, that is purely interest.
Yeah, that's interest only.
This is interest only mortgage. Right.
So it's £2,062.
And how much is your rent?
My rent is 2,000 with the car park. So my rent just for the building, forget car park, for the actual property is 2,520 per month.
Yeah.
So 2,520 times 12 gives a rental income per year of 30,240.
Yeah, 30,240. Just do 2062 times 5 times. I didn't write down the annual.
Okay, 2062
times 12.
times 12, 24,744.
24,744. So that gives him. So do 30.
Yeah.
30,240
Yeah.
minus 24,744.
Gives him an annual profit of £5,496.
5,496, and he's putting in
275,000. I mean, obviously, the guy that owns it
plus stamp.
Yeah.
So what you're going to put in is 300, aren't you?
It's just ridiculous. Now, in fairness, the guy that owned it bought it brand new and he paid 500,000 for it. So obviously for him it's probably a good investment, but for somebody buying it now, it's just not a good investment because obviously the purchase price is considerably higher. But he bought it off plan, pre-build, so that's why he got it so cheap, and he bought it brand new 6 years ago. Wow, stamp duty on that probably 71,000. Like, oh wow, I've bought houses cheaper than that. It's ridiculous.
So what's the ROI? So 277 do for illegals.
277
plus 72
plus 72
What's
gives
that?
349.
So that's the investment.
350,000 divided by 5496.
Isn't it the way around?
Yeah.
5496.
Use it. 5496
5496
divided by 349,000.
1, 2, 3. It is
0.015% times 100.
1.5%.
1.5% ROI. So this is why, as you see, the more expensive the house, it doesn't always make sense.
Also, if he had it on a repayment mortgage,
he would be screwed.
He'd be making a loss.
And he'd be paying more than absolutely.
That's the problem with these properties. People say, why don't you buy? Because I'm not a freaking idiot.
Yeah.
Because
I understand that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
look, you just got to find an area where you're comfortable with. It's got good capital appreciation. It's got good tenants, good ceiling prices, and it's got a little bit of good increase in capital appreciation every year. It's a good, sensible area. There's plenty of them in the UK. Go and find them. Buy a nice little single let. Give it to a nice management company. You sit back and just collect your rent every month. It's really, really simple. But I would be looking on DealSourceWrap, on Rightmove, Zoopla, all of the websites. Go and view the property, meet the agent, and just negotiate hard to get the price down, and then also negotiate with the letting agent, because really, as a single let property, the letting agent doesn't do that much. It's not like they're managing it with a HMO, so you could be getting rates of like 8% of the rent as opposed to 10% if you start negotiating. You want them in good condition so you don't have to do that much work, so you can literally just put your money in, sit back, wait, and then wait for that capital appreciation and refinance when it's gone up a little bit, and then buy some more. That's what I would do.
Cool, perfect. Right, it's now time for this. Okay, so in the news this week, we're going to be talking about how the government have basically said landlords are not allowed to reject tenants with pets. So right now, it's standard on AST contracts that you're not allowed pets.
Yeah, they charge a premium for it, don't they?
Well, they're changing
if they allow it. If they allow it, that is.
If they allow it. They're changing that to basically say... And I've had a nightmare with this as a tenant point of view in the past. So I'm actually quite pleased about it, but I think most landlords won't be. But they're basically saying that from now on, the ASTs will say that you are allowed pets. A well-behaved pet.
Yeah, but how the heck are they going to know if it's a well-behaved pet? It's just... maybe they do an obedience test. A referencing. Maybe they have referencing for it, like with previous landlords.
Maybe an obedience test would be good. They could set up like the guide dogs do. Hold on, what's that? What's that tournament? Ruffs, is it?
Crufts. Ruffs. It's Crufts.
I was thinking like rough.
Where they all go through the...
But they all go. You go. All right. Let's see how your dog gets on with that. And then if you do,
ridiculous.
How would Ricky's dogs? The Ricky's dogs wouldn't do very well.
Ricky's dogs, if you can class them as dogs, to be honest.
Be careful what you say, yeah.
They're little small, sort of rat type, Chihuahua things.
Why would anyone have a dog like that?
He carries them in his man bag.
What?
Have you seen Alistair's dog?
The
walrus.
The walrus, yeah. No, in fairness, Ricky's dogs are actually quite cute, but they're like short dog syndrome. They've got like small man syndrome.
You got two, haven't you?
Yeah.
We take them out for a walk.
How many dogs have you got?
Two.
So we've all got 2 dogs.
Yeah, we take him out. We take Ricky's dog out for a walk, and you've got these tiny little dogs picking fights with the biggest dogs you can find, and it's just it's funny. It is so funny.
Why do little dogs do that?
It's short man syndrome, isn't it?
Well, dog syndrome.
Short dog syndrome.
Often, we go to Marlow quite a lot, and like there's so many dogs at Marlow,
Yeah.
right? But then people are walking around with these dogs like this big.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's the point?
Yeah.
What is the point? So
They are lovely dogs.
now
They are
I
lovely
can't, I
dogs,
can't
in
say that
fairness.
to anyone because I can't go over to someone in the street and go, "Can I ask you a question?" Yeah, sure. What's the point in your dog?
Yeah.
Right. But I can ask it to Ricky. So explain, Ricky, what's the point?
They're just, they are. Well, what's the point in your dog?
My dog is a proper dog.
But it's a proper dog, isn't
What's
it?
a proper dog?
Oh, I've got 2 dogs. They're both proper dogs. Well, a proper dog. So a proper dog, for example, right? If someone robbed my house, my 2 proper dogs would be like, "Hey guys."
What is this suddenly Scooby Doo?
off.
Is
You know
this
what I mean?
suddenly Scooby Doo?
Have you seen the dogs that can talk? Have you seen where they film them? They gotta go like,
Yeah, they have. Have you seen the Alsatian on YouTube that says? Have you seen the one where he says, "I got some steak and I was going to give it to you," and he went, "Yeah," and he goes, "But I gave it to the cat." And he went, "No!" We'll have to find that. It's so funny. Anyway, it's so
I
funny.
saw one. I want to show you this.
It's funny how we're maybe talking serious about ASTs and landlords, but now we're just talking about dogs and funny videos.
I saw what. But so basically, right. I'll show you in a bit. But there's this cake.
Yeah.
And they've made it like a pug, but it's like unbelievably realistic, right?
Yeah.
It looks just like a pug, and it's just sitting there like as if it's asleep on the table. And they go over and they cut a piece out, and you see their dog in the background. It's literally like this. Like its eyes come out of its head, mouth open. I find it's hilarious.
Oh, good stuff. Anyway, as a landlord, would you want pets in your house? For myself, I'm not that bothered as long as there's a bond or something payable for damage, because obviously some dogs piss and shit all over the carpet and eat things, and
That's what I was.
That's why I have small dogs.
that's
That's the question.
what they don't go to the toilet.
Well, they do, but it's only like little minstrels.
Yeah, but
fine,
the dogs, our dogs are bigger, and they don't do it in the house.
Yeah, I know, but you still have to. You have a shovel and stuff in the garden to pick up your dogs. Mine, you just pick it up, like a raisin, chuck it in the bin.
Oh, fine, okay, fair,
That's why I
whatever.
have
So
small
that's the
dogs.
whole reason.
Anyway, like my point being, as a landlord, would you be happy with dogs or animals in your property? Now, the problem I see with this, okay, is most sensible people have maybe 1 or 2 dogs, or if they've got animals, if they're an animal lover, have maybe 1 or 2 animals. But what about the people in society who have 10 animals, 10 dogs, snakes, freaking rats, mice, all sorts? What about these people? Gerbils running around, and you go in their house. I'm being serious. You go in the house, and it's just like a freaking zoo. What about these people?
Well, I don't know.
Would you have them as tenants?
No.
Knowing they've got that many animals, that the place is going to stink. There's going to be like all sorts of issues, like damage and all that sort of stuff. Would you be happy with that?
See, what I think
wouldn't.
what I think they should do is have a better system, and it might be impossible to do this, but a better system of putting the house back to the original standard.
Yeah.
So like when we moved, we use Hamptons as our letting agent,
Okay.
and we've used them both times we've moved down here, and they have a third-party company that comes in, does a full check of the house,
Yeah.
and then that same company when it works out, and they work out the compensation that they think. So, like for example, if there was a small thing like you'd broken, I don't know, a hatch on a door or
Yeah.
something, so they would work out what they think is fair.
Yeah.
So it's not done by the landlord, it's not done by the tenant,
Yeah,
it's done by this company. If they had a better system where that was kind of done, and you had to stick to it. So if it was more than your deposit, so let's say you had the dog in the house and it ripped up the carpets and it shat everywhere and everything,
Yeah.
and they went round, they went, well, this is this much damage, it's more than your deposit, therefore you owe it, and there was a way of claiming it.
That's the thing. A way of claiming it. Okay, a way of actually getting that money back. Then there'd be no problem, because the reality is this: most deposits are legally maximum 5 weeks rent. Okay, that might not cover the damage that an animal could do.
What
and
about
then
insurances?
you've got to then go and try and claim that money back from a tenant who's probably not going to want to give you that money, and it's just a ball ache to take them through court. Let's say they caused £3,000 worth of damage to a property because their dog and their cats and all that have wrecked the place, and then the default's only £700 or £800. Like, you're just not going to get that money back.
What about then if you didn't have to pay a deposit as a tenant, but you got insured? So if you wrecked the house,
I think there is insurances for that.
Well, when you move to the next house, that your insurance premium, they'll be like, well, a bit like if you have a car crash, you wreck that house, so your premium is now more.
Yeah.
But would that solve it? Would that be better than a deposit system?
I think it should be compulsory that every tenant has to have this that insurance.
In which
there
case,
is insurance in place for that.
In which case, from a landlord's point of view, though, I'm thinking, number one, I don't have to take a deposit.
Yeah.
Number two, I don't really care what they do to the property, because when they move out, their insurance will kick in. So a third-party person goes in, puts the claim in, insurance fixes it.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Yeah, all good. What do you think, guys? Would you be happy with animals in your properties?
I do think from a tenant's point of view it's a good thing.
Yeah,
I remember
I do as well.
The houses that I've lived in recently, because they're much bigger houses, they all allow pets, so it hasn't been a problem. But when I used to live in smaller houses 10 years ago, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And so many houses wouldn't accept dogs.
Yeah. Well, it's just because they know that the property's going to get trashed, really. Not everyone does it. Like, I'm going to disagree with that, because not everyone does that.
You said something that disagreed with yourself.
I often disagree with myself, but my point being is not everyone that's got animals doesn't look after the place. Like,
he could do this podcast on his own, couldn't he? I think this. No, I disagree.
I could just keep moving back and forward and see. I could be you, and I could come up with some sarcastic, smart jokes, to throw them in there.
Not as good as
Anyway, we need to move on. We need to move on. So, look, what do you think? Let us know in the comments. Would you allow tenants to have animals?
Overall,
in your property?
good thing, bad thing.
I think it's. I'm sort of split. As a tenant, I wouldn't mind it. But again, I'd be favourite. I'd have favouritism.
You're a tenant and a
I know
landlord.
I am, but as a tenant, I'm like, yeah, it's good. But as a landlord, I'm thinking about some of my tenants, and they can barely look after themselves.
Disagreeing and disagreeing.
Well, they can. I'm thinking of some of my tenants, and they can barely keep the place clean just for themselves. So suddenly you throw an animal into the mix, and it's just a whole heap of disaster waiting to happen. So I'm mixed.
Okay. Well, there you go. Alistair is mixed. You heard it here first.
Okay, so. We're going to move on to the Q&A session. Oh, we've got the quiz to do as well.
Oh, yeah.
So you get your questions ready, Rick.
Are you ready on the... Should we do the quiz first?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's do the quiz. You find...
I've got questions. All right. Got loads of questions.
Just so you know, if you want to ask us questions, go ahead down to the Property Investors with Samuel Leeds Facebook group. We're both on there. You can ask your questions on there. We'll normally do a little video before we film, and you can jump on and ask us questions.
All right, let's go for the questions of the this week's quiz. Ricky.
Notice how little we trust you, Rick. We're both keeping score.
Yeah.
Oh, you're keeping score. All right. In the red corner, we have Mr. Russell Leeds. In the blue corner, we have Mr. Alistair Cunningham. Okay, here we go. There's going to be 3 questions this week. They're for both of you, and they're going to be closest 2 questions.
Okay.
All 3 of them.
Fine,
Okay. How many buy-to-let mortgages were approved in December of last year?
I just don't.
Just December.
How many buy-to-let mortgages were approved in in December of last year? Closest 2. We'll go to Russell first.
Well, are we going to do the writing down thing so we can't cheat?
Yeah.
Yeah, you write it down.
Write it down. So how many buy-to-let mortgages were approved?
Play along at home as well, guys. So
December
no
of last
cheating. Write something down. See if you beat us. Oh, do you know? I just don't. I don't even. Do you know when you just don't even?
Come on, stop messing about.
Oh man. You didn't even say where.
Don't reveal your
No,
answers
in the
yet.
UK. He said in the UK.
Did you say in the UK?
He said in the
It's in
UK.
the UK.
How many buy-to-let
Well,
mortgages were approved in December?
Where else is it going?
It could be anywhere. It could be the
in-
world.
It could be in Islamabad or wherever. I don't know.
Go on then, Rick. Talk. What did you write? Because I'm committed now as well.
Hold on. Don't,
What did you write?
Hold on. Will you please stop messing about?
Go on, next
Okay,
question.
next question.
Oh yeah, are we answering at the end, are we?
Yeah, I think we should go at the end.
Oh, go on,
And
then.
then otherwise you're literally going
All right, just
All
get on with
right.
it, for God's sake.
To the exact date, when did Section 24 come into force?
Oh my.
To the
I know,
exact
I know,
date,
I know,
when
I know.
did Section 24 come into force?
Oh man, it would have been.
I know that one.
I know.
I think you know the answer.
I think so, yeah.
The exact date?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, mine's a guess, so there's no way.
Alright. Stop. Can you,
I know the year.
Yeah, yeah, it
Right.
was, it was,
Oh, do you know, we've guessed
Very
12
similar.
days apart.
yeah.
Well,
Alright, it's next.
alright, here we go.
Play along at home, guys.
The big one, go on, the big one, come on.
Here's the big one. How many square foot is Buckingham Palace?
What?
How many square foot is Buckingham Palace?
Flipping heck, man, that's a difficult one.
How many
Buckingham
square
Palace
foot
is huge,
is
mate.
Buckingham Palace?
Have you ever done the tour around there?
No.
It's freaking huge.
I'll put an answer though.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should do the same.
Oh.
Oh, I'll be so interested in what people are putting at home.
How many square foot is
Can we work backwards? Because my first one is the one. The other two, I
Alright,
feel like I've got.
So we're going to go backwards. Okay, so how many square foot?
No way!
How many-
You reckon it's that
how
big?
many
No, you're not
square
changing it. That's ridiculous.
It is. It's huge.
Well, let's find out.
Honestly. It's
Do you know what I worked out on?
humongous.
I've doubled Ribsford.
Nah, it's like it's 20
Go on,
times. It's
go on.
Right,
humongous.
how many square foot is Buckingham Palace?
I went for 35,000. I don't know. Is that ridiculous? Is it?
Go on, Al.
I put 850,000.
Oh, it's 828,000.
Is it?
Wow.
See, I knew it was. Cha-ching! I knew.
I'm
I knew.
gonna
it was-
lose this quiz.
Do you know? I knew it was big because when I went, I went.
Russell made Buckingham Palace look like a little pub.
The Queen Vic.
Oh, hold on. You mean the Buckingham Palace? I thought you meant.
I went. I took Isabel there a couple of years ago, and I remember
never
it was
been.
some. I remember it was like nearly 1 million square foot.
Okay.
How do you even get round it? That's
Well, you can't go to most of it,
Well, go on.
but it goes all
Right.
around Kensington Garden, doesn't it? It's
I
massive.
don't know.
It's huge, mate.
When did Section 24 come into force?
31st of March, 2017.
I put 12th of April 2017.
6th of April 2017.
Hold on.
I'm
Oh,
closer.
wait. No, hold
I'm
on.
closer.
6 days.
Yeah, and you're 7.
6 days.
No.
First, second, third, fourth, sixth.
6th of April.
Look, I got the right month. I'm fucking
So
having that.
what?
I'm having that. No, I'm having that.
Fine, all right, fine. All right, fine, you can have it. You can have
By
it.
the way, I'm quite impressed at how good our guess was for that.
Yeah, I know, same as. I knew it was around the financial year of 2017.
That was my guess. as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Alright, last question then. How many buy-to-let mortgages were approved in December last year in the UK? Roughly
No, my answer's stupid.
His answer's stupid.
With 37 square foot, is it?
I put 5,650.
Is that close?
Well, what's yours?
50,000.
Oh, 5,700.
Oh, yes.
How are you so close?
Because I just know this sort of stuff.
How did you know that?
Because I listen.
Who cares?
Me, I care. I'm 50 out, so that's me. That means this week, guess what?
Dude.
I win!
man.
And that means it is now 4-1. Is it 4-1? You've won? No, 3-1.
I've won at least 4.
It's 4-1.
I think I might have won 5.
So it's
37,000 square
4-1.
foot.
Guys, 4-1. How are you getting on?
No idea.
How many of you got the answers right on that one? Shut up with your losing. You lost. All right, get over it.
Your answers were brilliant.
Yeah, get over it.
Every single one of them.
37,000.
I had no idea. I just drew Ribswood House. I just thought that's pretty massive. I'll just double it.
Right, okay.
Oh, well.
Hope you enjoyed that, guys. It is now time for the Q&A session. So every single week we do our Instagram live. We do questions. We put them out there, and we're going to do some of your questions today. Got one here from Mark Parham. Hey Mark, how you doing? How's the project in Bedfordshire going? When's it looking at being finished? My HMO in Bedford, the kitchen started going in last week and it's on its progress. I've been told it should be finished within 5 weeks. They also told me it'd be finished before the end of December, so we need to wait and see. But yeah, I'm reckoning the next 4 to 5 weeks it should be really good, but it's a really, really good project at the minute. Okay, it's from Alex Lord. Question for the Property Investors Podcast. I'm currently about to sell my first property. It's a residential, so no tax. Happy days. I will have around £130,000 back from the sale in a couple of months. How do you think this would be best to invest? What strategy in what area, Russell? He needs cash flow at the minute, as he's just left his job.
I was reading another question at the time. Read it again.
So, Alex has sold his house. He's going to have £130,000 back. How is it best to invest? What strategy, what area? He's looking for cash flow.
Cash flow. I would say, Alex, I would definitely do a mixture. I mean, it depends a little bit on what you're doing, but I would say with that sort of money, I'll probably be looking at doing buy, refurbish, refinance.
100%.
But if you're looking for cash flow, I'd be looking for projects where I could rent it out as either a HMO or a serviced accommodation unit, because that's going to give you the high cash.
Yeah.
But it makes sense to recycle the money rather than putting it all in.
The thing is, with that sort of money, you're not like you're starting with £5,000 here, so you've got money. So I wouldn't necessarily go down the whole route of rent to rent. I would be buying the assets. So it depends how quickly you need the cash flow. If you could do a quick buy, refurb, refinance into a HMO in like 3 months' time and then generate the cash flow, that would suit you better, I think.
I definitely wouldn't do rent to rent.
No, neither would I.
If you got 130 grand.
Okay, one final question.
What happened to Ricky reading the questions?
Oh, yeah.
We're taking away.
You can finish now.
Oh, sorry, we'll finish now.
Winner of the quiz.
Yeah, well, I'm winner of the quiz.
But to be fair, your quiz answers were unbelievable. I think you guys prepped it in the car on the way here.
That is disgusting.
These questions, I feel offended.
That is absolutely disgraceful.
How did you guess within 50? How many buy-to-lets? I mean, like,
because I'm au fait with the markets. I know what's going on.
This quiz takes me a week to prepare. How dare you?
I think you guys
I'm disgusted.
planned the quiz.
Absolutely disgusted. Anyway, let's move on to this. The fact that you're
reacting like you are almost confirms it. You're both like, what? Outrageous!
I'm offended. Let's move on. Okay, next question's from Liam Matt. Alistair, I want to get into property, but I have to raise the finance. I want to do deal sourcing, but which course would you recommend? The masterclass, the one with just the manual, or the actual event? Listen, I would do it all. I would do the whole thing. The reason being is because you get the manual that backs up the live event, that backs up the training. So you get both, okay? I would just do both. One question more from Andrew Johnston. If you're wanting to fund more than one property using bridging finance, do you get 2 individual loans or one big one? Is there a limit?
If you're wanting to fund more than one property using bridging finance, yeah, I think he means you've got 2 projects going on at the same time.
Yeah. Okay, 2 projects going on at the same time. Bear in mind, bridging finance is linked to the property. It's not linked to you, okay? So you wouldn't be able to get one big loan across multiple properties unless you're doing portfolio finance, okay? So you'd have to, with bridging finance, it'd have to be bridge for that specific...
You get one bridge for one project, so you get another bridge for
exactly,
your
yeah.
However, what you can do, you say it's linked to the property, and that is true. Mm-hmm. What you can do, though, is let's say, for example, so we've done this before where they wouldn't lend the full amount on one.
Yeah.
You can throw other equity you've got, you can throw it in as collateral.
Yes, 100%.
So if you want to get more money than that property will allow you to get, you can throw other stuff you've got in. So not necessarily linked, but
hope you've enjoyed the show, guys. Hope you found that useful. How did you get on in the quiz? What do you think of landlords having to allow pets?
Do you think Alistair's answers were ridiculously good?
What do you think of Russell's 37 square foot Buckingham Palace?
Well, I got
Ricky thought Barbara Windsor was going to pop her head out and so, get out of my pub! Anyway, guys, hope you found it useful. See you next time.